My name is Daysi Flores. I'm a feminist activist here in Honduras, and I'm here to learn to host the Nova Women's Initiative delegation. And I'm part of Just Associates, and I'm really proud to be part of this team.
What does it mean to be a feminist activist in Honduras?
It means trouble. Everything. I mean, it's really a very problematic way of doing activism because we have to resist both everything that everybody is resistant, but also we have to resist the patriarchy and all the male rules that are even within our own movements. Things have completely changed for us after the coup. We were on the streets. We were like, for the first time, we spoke out that we were feminists. We actually were feminists in resistance because all the movement was called the resistance against the coup. And the feminists we just decided to, in a spontaneous way, to go to the streets. And we just found each other there. And we started building this movement, this new wave and this new way to make things happening. And yes, I think our life has changed. I think we have deepened our understanding of how really the system works after the coup. Actually, we spoke out, and a lot of women, I mean, a regular woman went out to walk to the street and to demand that that cannot be happening at this point. And I think that's, we have advanced all the struggles from before. We thought we were over of the coups, and Honduras has a very extensive coup history. And we thought we were over. We thought we were on the road of democracy. And I think that the values of democracy were really getting to everyone. And so that's why women decided to go out, even regular women. And the feminists, we were like making proposals, we were on the tables, we were like saying this is not happening. We were the first movement actually who said this is not about one person, this is not about one leader, this is about democracy. They broke the game of democracy. They're not, democracy means the people is ruling. And that's what it means, really. So if we have to respect the people's will. So we were really outraged, and we were really touched by all the population, all regular people going out to the streets, defending democracy also as we did, and defending peace. And so we lived in a state of siege, and we resist that. And because of that, because women actually spoke out, and we as feminists actually were telling to the world, this is what is happening in Honduras right now. We became like targets, and we were targets of the military forces. And we were targeting in a very different way that all men were being targeted, because the whole people in Honduras were being repressed. But for women, a lot of them were raped. When there was a demonstration and the repression started, they didn't hit any, they hit the men, and they beat the men on their arms and on their legs, even on their head. But for us, it was like they tried to hit us in our intimate parts, and they were like calling them names. We were like I think we were like an offense. It was offensive for the soldiers that we were on the streets. It was really offensive for them. They even tried to, to shut us down. They hit us in our mouth, and they were saying, they even racked my camera, and they were like, go home, do whatever, go and what do you need? You need you know what you need? You need a man. You know, those kind of things that we were, I mean, we've been struggling for such a long time. We, as the feminist movement, were, before the coup, really believed in the democratic system and the state that we were building. We had some achievements. We even were doing some capacitaciones, some training with the policemen, the police forces. We were trying to, you know, sensibilize them. Sensitize them. We were trying to do this work because we believed that the coup happened. And then after the coup, the same, even the girls that we were sensitizing were beating us up. So it was really shocking for us as feminists and as the feminist movement. And we had the whole process of lobbying and making laws, trying to get women to the Congress, trying to get more women, you know, in the decision places, in decision-making places, and those women were really protagonic on the coup. So it's really sad, and really made us like to make the assessment of where we have to focus our struggle. So we keep on going to the streets. We still are going to the streets. We're every time we can, because right now, if you go to the streets, you have to, you know, be careful because they will beat you up anyway. So, and we support the movements that are trying to make the change happen in their communities. They're trying to build communities. They're trying to defend other women from the violence. So, and yes, that put us in a lot of risk. And it's really sad to hear the stories. It's really sad to work. It's really sad to, you know, to find your car sometimes that is wrecked, and or, you know, to receive phone calls, and, you know, I don't answer my phone if I don't know the number, because I've been threatened. I've been threatened. I'm on the list. I've been said I had to leave the country for 2 months because they were trying to press charges on me because I was painting some walls in protesting, because all the media, the mainstreaming media, were, you know, aligned with the coup makers. And so we had this consigna, this slogan that said, when the mainstreaming media have silence, all the walls are screaming.
How do you say that in Spanish?
Cuando los medios callan, las paredes gritan. Yeah. So, and we were also struggling inside the movement, this big and huge, diverse resistance movement, to make, you know, a linkage in between the violences the violence that we live at home, and the violence that is made by the state, that are all this violence mindset. It's a male mindset. So we're trying to change it, even within ourselves, because we are brought in this mindset too. So we're trying to review that and try to do everything different, because we have seen that having more women in key places doesn't really change the life of women, because you really have to be conscious that you are a woman, so you can really make changes for women, for all women. And to rule different and to have a different leadership, it's really an everyday task, I believe. And
how did you come to this movement? Because you haven't always been this way.
No.
I mean, what brought you to this point?
I actually lived an experience of violence. I was almost raped. I don't know, intento de violación, I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, attempted rape.
Attempted rape for a very old man, luckily, because then I could get away. So I came because I was a victim, and then I just that was like 17 years ago, because I was a teenager, and I just stayed in the movement because it was really something. I found hope in this movement. I found hope not just for me, but for all the girls that were growing up in the neighborhood, for my little sister, for my nieces and nephews right now. So that's why I stay. That's what I really believe, that things can change. And even if you're a victim of violence and you're brought in violence, because my neighborhood is a very violent neighborhood also, but we can do things and in different levels, and we can try to make things different, and we can try to make someone. I mean, I think my life changed when I became a feminist. Sometimes I think, because I have been always a leader in every, I don't know, since I can think, since I remember, I've been just leader in something, this thing, I've been in this process or the other process, and just hanging around with my friends has been really nice, and I like it. But I think if I wouldn't have come to the feminist movement, probably I will be one of those leaders that think as with the male mindset and think that violence is really justified and think that really, you know, there's not another way. But there is another way. There are actually a lot of ways to make things different. I think that the delegation, I hope they really take all the hope that we are seeing here, the hope that this movement that is just starting to grow, and that we have to nurture this movement, and also I think they can take our rage is the word, no? They can actually be sympathize. I don't know if that's the word. Like, yeah, they can sympathize with our rage, and because we are struggling here, yeah, right. We're struggling, and we have a lot of rage, and we're angry, but we have a lot of hope, and we are doing a lot of things to make this life a different life for everybody, not just for women and not just for us, but for everybody.